right, welcome kings and queens. Today we will be following up. So this is the follow-up to Shanquella Robinson's, to the first video that I did regarding the brutal beating in Mexico that occurred while she was on vacation with a group of friends. She was there less than 24 hours. And the next day, her family received a call that she was no longer with us. There's a lot to be said about this. Each and every day, we find out something new. And we also hear a lot of rumors. So for the purposes of today's conversation, I am going to be covering just a few I'm going to be covering a few areas. I'm going to talk about the FBI. And then I am going to talk about the men that traveled with her, Khalil and Nazir. Now, based on the updates that I've seen, the FBI has upgraded the investigation to femicide. And I actually had to look that up because I was like, femicide, is that not a hate crime? So I looked it up and it says when a crime is carried out against a person because of their gender. So that's because Shanquella was a girl. And then I kind of scratched my head because when I looked it up, I was actually out in a public place. And I'm like, okay, why would the FBI charge the other women with femicide? Because they're all women. And I remember saying that to a person that I was talking out loud to, just walking through my thoughts. And that person is vaguely familiar with the case. But the person said, is somebody a transgender? And I said, no, I don't think so. They're all girls. Not even after I said that, an hour later, more news came out, which are rumors, that it is said to be that one of the ladies that attacked Shanquella could have been possibly born as a biological male. That has yet to be confirmed and or substantiated. So right now it's just rumor, but it would align. If it's true, it would align with the charges or the investigation that the FBI is now upgraded to. Because to me, it would make sense. I mean, to say femicide, unless a man did it or they have different details than we know. So it very well could be true, just based on the terminology that the FBI is using. So stay tuned for more of that. That's very interesting. But it does, in my first video, you can hear me saying, how can a woman hit another woman that hard to break her neck and crack her spine? At some point as a woman, you're going to hurt your own damn hand. You know what I'm saying? But of course, it's rumored that the other young lady is the one that dealt the fatal blow by picking Shanquella up and body slamming her, which could have possibly led to her neck being cracked and her neck being broken and her spinal cord being cracked. At this point, I don't give a damn. They're all responsible. Each and every one of them. Because maybe that's what you're saying because that's what's on video, but we don't know who put a hand on her. Okay? It could have been all of y'all. As far as I'm concerned, I don't give a damn. All of you need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The father did share in his interview that he had been called that Saturday on October 29th, about 7 or 8 p.m. And the mother shared with him that Shanquella was no longer with us. And he's like, the mother actually used the word gone. And he's like, what do you mean by gone? She's like, she's gone. She died of alcohol poisoning. He's like, what? In Mexico? So he's shocked. He's just as shocked as a mother. The mother said, yeah. The mother gave him some background saying the friends have been here. I have her luggage. So the father, although distraught, wants more information. So he and his brother, they take it up on themselves. They Google funeral homes in Cabo San Lucas, and they got the right funeral home. They were able to reach someone who actually spoke Spanish. after the second attempt, spoke English. And she's the one that notified them. No, your daughter actually had severe trauma to her neck, broken neck, and her spinal cord was cracked. Now, when he and his brother were able to, sign the paperwork, complete the policies and procedures, get the signatures to get the body here. And he said when his daughter arrived, when Shanquella arrived, her body arrived, he could clearly see there had been trauma to her face. Her lip was busted, her eye was swollen, her head was knotted up. So in that moment, he's telling her mother, y'all need to confront those friends because the story they're telling you is not conclusive or in alignment with alcohol poisoning. And that day, the mother never saw the quote-unquote best friend again, who's a male, and his name is Khalil. Now, up until then, he had been to her house 3 days in a row, okay, since Shanquella was eliminated. So that means the last day she heard from him was probably November 1st or November 2nd. Now, another key component to this case is the chef. We've got to find out if there was a chef or if there was not a chef. And I know what Shanquella said when she talked to her mother, but if this were a setup, they could have just been telling her that to make her comfortable. Yeah, girl, we're going to have a chef. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I don't think there was a chef, y'all. I don't think there was a chef because when Shanquella was walking around, if you go and see her live, you remember she has a video, and I'm assuming she was naked because she was walking around the house saying, where are y'all? Where are y'all? And for some reason, I feel like it was dark. I don't know if it was daytime or nighttime, but just watching that video, I feel like it was nighttime. So the chef should have already been there or damn near on the way. And she went down in that room. And if you look at all of their clothes, they look like they had on night clothes to me. The girls looked like they had on 2-piece pajama sets and looked like they had their hair wrapped. I could be wrong. That's not indicative of we're about to go upstairs and eat and have some drinks. Okay? So I don't think there was a chef. And if there is a chef, the FBI and the Mexican authorities needs to be talking to that chef. I need to know exactly what the hell happened, what you cooked, what time they ate, who was here, who was drinking, what was the tone of the group. And if there was not a chef, if there was no chef, that's going to tell you the level of evil we're dealing with. If there was not a chef, this was a clear setup planned in the United States, carried out in Mexico, so much so that they got Shanquella to believe it because she's even relaying to her mother, I gotta go. A chef is coming. I don't think there was a chef. Another reason I don't think there was a chef, when Nasir, even though I don't believe nothing he say, there was a few details that he leaked out if you listen closely. When he was on his live trying to clear his name, he said when I got there, they was talking about something to eat. When you just get food from a chef and you got a full belly the night before, the last thing on your mind is food. You still processing all of that heavy Mexican food. That's heavy food. There was no chef. When he said that immediately, I said, there was no chef. Either way, it don't matter because if there was not, y'all are evil. Y'all set this girl up from start to finish. The other thing is, let me start with Nasir. I'm on him. So he went live a couple of times to clear his name. He was lying. He was lying. When he said he got there, she was unresponsive. And he rubbed her head and played soft music. He a damn lie. Let me tell you something. When you get there, because if a father could see the bruises post-mortem, so can you. If she was still up, like you said, and you tell me, come on, girl, we got to go swim. You a damn lie. Here's why. When you walked in there and saw them bruises on her face, her busted lip, knot on her head, her eye, what is it? Swollen shut. And you still talking about, come on, girl, we got things to do in Mexico. Is you crazy? Is you crazy? She's that swollen up and you worried about her coming to the pool? You a damn lie. You a damn lie. Don't believe it, y'all. This man is not innocent. That man got there. He said he got there a day later. I believe it was all by design. I believe this is a setup from start to finish. I believe the reason why he did not have a strong action to the condition she was in is because he knew it was planned. He would not render aid because it was supposed to happen. Okay? And I do not believe she was breathing when he got there. I think she had already been deleted, eliminated. And the reason why I cannot say the word is because YouTube picks up certain words. You have to be very careful and they will strike you, you know. So I believe when he got there, he knew what time it was. He was a part of the plan. He was supposed to be there a day later to substantiate the alibi. He was supposed to wrap it all up. Seal the alibi. Yep, this is how I found her. She was good to go. He's lying. She was gone, y'all. She was no longer with us. That's why he did not have a strong reaction. Because he knew it was going to happen. Okay? That's what I believe. I also believe there was no nurse and or doctor called. If there was a doctor called, because he said they called a doctor. And he was giving too many details that didn't even make sense for an innocent person. He's like, yeah, and we called somebody, and at first they said it was going to be a male, then it was a female. What the hell does that have to do with anything? When your friend is in distress, how come you can remember that, but you can't remember something else? That's because you lying. So that has nothing to do with anything. But here's where I'm going with this. They say they called a doctor. According to Nazir, the doctor came and tried to give her an IV. And the IV popped out. She went into convulsions and started having a seizure. Now, if that did happen and the doctor left without rendering aid or taking her to a hospital, and I know you said according to the father, they gave a wild story that the doctor asked for $5,000 just to transport her to the hospital. He's lying. All of them are lying. This is the story they came up with. Okay? And if there was a doctor that did come and that doctor did not help her, that doctor needs to be thrown underneath the jail. Your job as a medical professional, if somebody's having convulsions or going into seizures, at that point, money is not a factor. Your first job is to administer life-saving techniques. Okay? I don't give a damn what country you operate in. You take that oath. That's why I don't believe Nazir. Then he said, oh, she was fine. But then he keeps saying she was unresponsive. So why are you begging her to get up? Saying we got shit to do. Let's go enjoy Mexico. You are lying. But I do believe he was trying to give us timestamps. See, they've been watching too much damn TV. Give us timestamps and create an alibi for the entire group. I do not believe that she was in the game room. He said, when I came in, she was in the game room. She was in the game room. You lying. Because if she was in the game room, how in the hell did she make it to the toilet? Because then you said in another sentence that the maid found her on a toilet vomiting. So how did she get from the toilet from the game room? That's a lie. I don't believe that. Here's what I do believe. I believe they set her up. I believe it started in the U.S. I don't know the reason. I believe it's way deeper than what we think and or what we thought. I believe after she went live and she was walking around that house, she was already naked. I think when she ended that live, that's when the drama started. That's when the most horrific events of her life started. If you go back, I think it started and I think it lasted for quite some time. If you go back and look at that live, I'm assuming she was already naked. When she walked into that room, that bed was made that they were hoovering over. That was the same room I think that she passed away in. She was still naked. They were dressed. They were talking. And I think they were conspiring. Do we do it now? Do we wait? Do we pop off right now? All of that. As soon as she turned that camera off, it happened. And I think it occurred for long periods of time throughout the night. I think they wouldn't let her get out the room. I don't think they went in her bedroom. Because when you see that girl fighting her the next day, that bed still looks made to me. I don't even know if she had a chance to go to sleep that night. Okay? I know her father shared that the autopsy shows that she passed away at 3 p.m. That means that's when you stop breathing. But I think they attacked her that night. And it continued for a long period of time. And they left her helpless for Lord knows how many hours. And finally, I think at 3 p.m., she was no longer breathing. Okay? According to the autopsy. Now, here's the thing. All we see is the first girl hitting her, Dejanay, whatever her name is. And then it's rumored that Winter is the one that dealt the fatal blow. We don't know who hit her. I believe they all could have hit her that was there. Because there's a lot of force to break somebody's neck and crack their spine. We don't know if they all were kicking and punching on her. And the $1 million question is why. And in my previous video, towards the end, you remember before any rumors came out, this was brand new, this case, I said, I wonder if this has anything to do with money. I wonder if something happened about this trip and money. Somebody got pissed off because somebody heard somebody said something about money. They couldn't articulate themselves verbally, so they resulted to violence. That was my first question. Does this have anything to do with money about this trip? I don't know. Because now it's rumored that Shanquella actually paid for a huge portion of the trip. Now, here's where I scratch my head. If you don't have money to go to Mexico and somebody has to front your trip, the Airbnb will not be the best choice. Airbnbs are not all inclusive. That means they have to front your food, your drinks, your alcohol. That could get pretty expensive. Okay? Unless you never meant to make it through the first night. Unless you set this up and this was planned from start to finish and you knew you would need her to pay for food, alcohol, and drinks because you knew you came there to do one thing specifically, and that was to eliminate her. I believe they set her up. I believe it's only they know. Because if you don't, think about you and your friends and the best option. Because see, ain't nobody millionaires in that group. Yes, she was a working lady. She had her own business, but nobody's a millionaire. And when you're thinking about the best cost-effective option in Mexico for your friends that don't have money, the best choice would be to get an all-inclusive resort. Therefore, girl, your food is included, your drinks included. I can spot you on that. Just pay me back, blah, blah, blah. At least you ain't got to worry about food and drinks we can eat at the hotel. But at an Airbnb, we got to pay for everything from the chef, breakfast, lunch, dinner, alcohol. And I got to watch my coin if I'm responsible for both you and I. So I believe Shanquella very well may have wanted a resort. And if this were a setup, then they convinced her to get an Airbnb because it could isolate them. See, at a resort, you got staff around the clock. Or Airbnb, ain't nobody coming in and barging in on you. It's secluded. It's isolated. And I want somebody to pull up that villa. I haven't pulled it up yet. But let me know if it looks isolated. They were so comfortable doing what they did to her, which really makes me feel like this was planned. Because if you go to the original video of the girl hitting her, y'all, the blinds and the curtains are open. Who beats somebody like that with the curtains open? You got to have a hell of a lot of confidence and esteem about yourself to jump on somebody and eliminate them with the blinds open. Y'all, this was planned. Because nobody thought to say, hey, close the blinds, y'all. Stop. We're going to get kicked out. Y'all, stop. No, this was planned. They picked this Airbnb. I don't even think Shanquella picked it. I think they outnumbered her and presented it so beautifully. Hey, girl, this is great. No, we all vote on this one. You know how it is. Majority rules when going on vacation. We really like this one. Come on, this is nice, blah, blah, blah. So this is very telling from the autopsy to the curtains and the blinds being open and the level of violence that they committed with the blinds open. What does that tell you? Okay? From the boy coming late. This was all done on purpose. Because how come he couldn't come that Friday? He said he came Saturday. He was the tail end to wrap up the alibi. He didn't administer aid because there was no aid to be administered. He didn't call no doctor because he already knew what time it was. He already understood what would be happening. She was the only one who didn't. Khalil is nothing but a Judas, and he walked her to her death. He walked her right into that from start to finish. He gained her trust. It's rumored that they took $10,000 from her. I don't put it past them. It's rumored that they used the money to book a hotel at the airport and to book their flights back early. Yeah. But guess who would have access to that? Your best friend. They would know your passcodes or have access to you to watch you, look at it. And I guarantee you, where's the phone? You didn't bring that phone back to her mama, did you? When you handed that luggage? No. But if you can find that phone, her phone's going to tell you everything. Her phone's going to tell you everything. I guarantee you they didn't bring that phone back. And if she were alive, like Nazir says, then why the hell you bring her luggage back? If the maid found her vomiting, and according to you, she was good. She was a little, not feeling good. Then why the hell you bring her luggage back to the United States? Would she not need clothes after seeing the doctor? That means you're a damn lie. You're lying. Y'all knew what it was. They need to dig deep into this, and they will. I believe justice will be served now. It took a lot of outcry. It took a lot of talking, and we got to continue to talk. However, I think it was a setup. I don't know the reason. That's the $1 million question. What the hell is the reason? I think it's definitely jealousy, envy, because anybody could have walked away from this and said, nah, I'm not down with that. But I will tell you this level, this generation, the level of demonic spirits, egregious behavior, darkness that lives in their souls, it's almost immeasurable. They live in a life that's almost unheard of. No feelings, no emotions. Life does not matter to some of them. And that's crazy. I covered the luggage. I covered the nerves, the seizure, the IV, the trauma to the neck, the cracked spine. I don't know. I think they killed her. I'm sorry. I think they eliminated her right after she got off that live. And I think when she realized what the hell was going on, it was like, oh my gosh, I should have followed my instinct. These people are not for me. And when he talking about you gonna fight back, what the hell makes you start to roll your camera? It was planned, y'all. And he said, you're not gonna even fight back? And she said, no. Because I think, number one, like her mother says, she's not a fighter. Number two, she knew if she would have fought, there was a bigger threat, y'all. There was a bigger threat if she would have fought back. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of layers to peel back. Number one, they set her up. Why? Number two, I think in that moment, she knew if she fought back, it's going to be worse. What's the worst? Because the ultimate end was the worst we can think of. But in that moment, She probably wanted to just get that. Let her hit me a couple of times. And if I don't hit back, this will stop. But it didn't stop. And I think it carried on for a lot of hours and a lot of berating. I think they tortured her. That's how you beat somebody to death. And that's what I think they did. I think there's a lot of footage. There's a lot of videos. And I don't think they deleted it. I think at this point, everybody's holding onto their videos just in case you tell on me, I'm going to tell on you. But I will say this to whomever's listening. If you know anything about yourself, if you know anything about the legal system, you better come forward. The first one that comes forward normally gets the best deal. All of y'all are in trouble. That's not going to go away. But the least you can do is come forward, because you're going down one way or the other. Either you're going down voluntarily or we're going to pray you down. It's your choice. It's your choice. So this is sad all the way around the clock. This is very sad. And I will say this. Nazir did not like her. Nazir did not like Shanquella. And here's why I say that. Go back and listen to his video. He said a lot of stuff. And I don't know if anybody caught this. He said, I even try to help her ass. And he said it with malice. First of all, why are you speaking like that in that manner as if she's still here? And in that moment, I said, damn, he got some venom for her. He didn't like her at all. Because no one talks like that of someone that just passed. I even try to help her ass too. You see, go back and listen. He said it. He didn't like her. He knew what time it was when he got there. So he's guilty. He knew. I don't know. It's a lot. Let's just keep the family in our prayers. Let's pray for swift and speedy justice. And listen, if and when it does happen, Mexico finna do their thing. Oh, Mexico gonna make an example out of them. Trust me. And you know what? They have no one to blame but themselves. I think initially Mexico wanted this to go away. Y'all fly your black asses back home. Get out of here. Don't come back. But you know what? Now that you brought it to our front door, you giving us a bad name. We take that personal. Mexico will prosecute them to the full extent of the law. And that ain't a place to be locked up abroad. But until then, we're going to pray that God will continue to hold the family near and dear. And you all have a wonderful evening.